We now come to the third episode in Season 7, and the third part of the Bad Batch arc, On the Wings of Keradaks. Now, I said about the second episode being better than the first one, but is this episode better than the second? Well, let's take a look. After rescuing Echo from the Techno Union headquarters, Anakin, Rex, Echo and the Bad Batch end up escaping on Kerradaks, the flying creature the local inhabitants used in the last episode, and they head back to the village where they get attacked by Wat Tambors forces in an attempt to get Echo back to the Techno Union. Once they defeat them, Anakin, Rex and Echo and the Bad Batch leave the plans and head back to Coruscant. So does this episode deliver as much as the others? Yes, absolutely. It's action-packed, the little details in the episode are really cool, like Echo's humour, for example, and the fact that Echo is scared of heights. It's so good, it's really funny to watch, and it's like a little nice touch as well. It's really good, just makes it very much lighter in a very dark situation. However, is it better than the other episodes? No, it's not. Let me explain why. My biggest issue with this episode is that it's only 18 minutes long, and that's not including the intro and the credit scenes. It's not long enough to tell the part of a story, especially the ending part, which is meant to be the conclusion, the wrapping up of this arc. And they're not in. And the biggest issue that I had with this episode is they're not in one place for very long, and it just feels like they're rushing to finish this story and this arc of the Bad Batch. Now I can't remember how long the original story reel was, but if it was whether it was longer or shorter than this episode. But I still feel they should have added a little more substance to this episode, like making the battle with the Techno Union in the village go on for a little longer, for example. The other issue I have with this episode, and it's only a little nitpick and it's really nothing important, but why is it that when they're walking through the air vents, Echo needs Rex's help in order to walk, and yet when they need to walk on a pipe, which is almost directly afterwards, Echo can then walk on his own just fine. Again, it's a small little detail, but I thought I should bring it up. Now, I really like the Techno Union droids in this episode. They're known for being cool in the previous episode to being insanely awesome in this episode. Mainly because these guys are just more competent, and because they're given more tools to do their job properly, like having wings to fly around with, and laser cutters on their hands to get to where they need to go to better, to do their job properly. It's a lovely detail, it makes the droids more useful than your average foot soldier. On the topic of droids, I really like the Oputara in this episode. Their colour scheme and the fact that they can fly as well just makes me really smile. Just because I have the thought of being in a situation where with Anakin, Rex, the Bad Batch and Echo in the village and seeing one of these come across the horizon, it would be really cool. I could just picture that in my head as I was watching it. Something else I like in this episode is something that they have stressed in other episodes of the Clone Wars, and that's the fact that in a galaxy at war, whoever you are, you'll always be roped in no matter what. It's a really good message to relay. There is a quote from Innovation in a Clone Wars episode that said, "In a galaxy divided by war, neutral worlds must choose sides or face the threat of invasion." It's a really good quote to think about, that no matter what side you are on, or if you're near a conflict, you will always end up having to choose a side, even if you don't want to. Aside from what I've already mentioned, Echo was really good in this episode. I didn't know what they were going to do with him, because when we saw him before, he was a crumpled mess that could not do anything. But the writers used the situation that he was in and used it to give him an advantage. For example, using Echo's arm to be able to hack into the Techno Union computers, and after being connected to their systems for so long, he knew their plans and schematics. Now, things like this is nothing new. We've seen this a million times before in Star Wars as well as other media that's not Star Wars related, but it was still really good to see it come about again in this episode. The only thing I was left wondering in this episode, after this episode ended, what was going to happen to Echo for the rest of the series, and especially Order 66. Did his chip get damaged or removed when he was being worked on by Techno Union, or did it stay in there? It's something that would be neat to see, but I don't know whether we'll be able to see it or not. Overall though, I did like this episode, not as much as the previous one, but that was only because of the length of it. If it was longer and had more substance to it, I think I would have enjoyed it more. But it was however a fitting end to the first arc, and I'm looking forward to see what happens in the next one.